Para sa kanyang special episode ngayong pagtatapos ng taon, ang KSP, ang kilalanin si public servant, kilalanin si public figure, and kilalanin si Presidentiable. Sabi ko na nga ba't medyo familiar yung pangalang kaninang bumati sa atin, si Mr. Hilario Andes. Yan, yung pala. Siya pala ang special guest ni Miss Laarni ngayon sa kanyang KSP. Yan, makakilala na natin. Isa sa mga sa 15 who made it to the eligible presidentiable candidates for 2022. Alain mo, mahigit 100 ang nag-file ng kanilang candidacy for presidency. 15 lang ang natira. At isa si Hilario, Laarni Andes sa natira. 15 sila. Malaking bagay na yan. Ika nga. Isa sa mga presidentiable for the 2022 election, si Mr. Hilario Andes. Isang special guest ni Miss Laarni para sa kanya, KSP.
Isang mainit na pagbati sa lahat ng viewers sa Servicio Balita Live Online. Nandito na naman po tayo sa isang episode natin ng KSP, ang kilalanin ng dating public servant na ngayon ay public figure na ngayon ay isang presidentiable candidate na walang iba kundi si Sir Hilario Andes. Sir, bilang presidentiable candidate, sino po si Sir Hilario or Sir Laarni Andes?
Thank you, Laarni, dyan sa tanong nyo. Firstly, salamat po sa pagkakataong ito sapagkat ako'y nandito kapiling ninyo at magsasalita ng konti about me, about the plans, about the programs, etc. Ako po yung ordinaryong Pilipino, ordinaryong Bicolano. I always say that to many. And that I came from, shall we say, a modest family from Bicol. My lola is from Camarines Sur, my lola is from Albay, my father is from Albay, my mother is from Catanduanes. I was trained the hard way by my parents, starting from the elementary grade at Vira Catanduanes, the Immaculate Conception Academy. Ay napagturuan na po kami ng mga magulang namin na magsikap, na maging matapang sa mga hamon ng buhay at maging community-oriented, no? In terms of helping others and serving others. That's why there was a time when I was elementary that I had to sell. I sold calamansi, I sold kamatis, and other root crops in the Vira public market. So that was part of the hard training we had from my father, who was also a small businessman, starting with selling of chickens in the areas of Albay of Sugon. Up to that time, we transferred to Catanduanes when I was 5 years old. Then I took up my secondary education at the Catanduanes colleges from first to second year, then third to fourth year at the Catanduanes State Colleges. I graduated my high school education from SED School at Catanduanes. Then for college, I studied at the Divine Word College of Legazpi. I took up accounting, and luckily I'm also an accountant right now. And through all those years, I learned that it is really hard work, you know, that will give you the opportunity to excel, you know, in various fields, in various areas. So it is because of hard work that, because my parents found it hard to provide for the education of my brothers and sisters. I am the oldest. I was the oldest. I still have two brothers and two sisters. So I had to apply as a working student at the Divine Word College in Legazpi. Free tuition. So libre na po yung ibang mga pangailangan. college, I worked at the Masika program of the Department of Trade and Industry. 3 taon lang po kami sa college because sa 4th year namin, kinuha na po kami ng Masika program under then Secretary Paterno of the Ministry of Industry. That was in 1977. I was assigned at Mindanao. At Osamis first, then at Pagadian, no? Zamboanga del Sur in 77. Then after that, I was transferred to Region 4. I became the so-called senior team leader of the Masika program. The Masika program is basically helping small businessmen obtain loans from the Development Bank of the Philippines so that these loans can add up to their capital, they can expand their business, they can produce more, pwede po sila mag-market ng marami so that they can earn more, no? Which is good for the economy. So after that, after 2 years in Masikap, I was at the Small Business Assistance Center of the Department of Trade and Industry. There, we train businessmen again. We give them consultancy services in marketing, in technical, even in financial. We still do and prepare feasibility studies that should be or could be applied to the banks for loan purposes. So in a nutshell, my training in the Department of Trade and Industry is a very broad kind of exposure to the small and medium business industry, which we hope to massively establish, God willing, in a nationwide scale, especially in the rural areas, so that people will be employed, so that people will earn more, and so that our rural people will be contributing to the consumption level of the country. Alam nyo naman, our people should be able to earn more and consume more. That's for the economic development of the country. Yeah. I am also a member, though not very active, of the Freemason Society of the Philippines, and I understand that here in Calamba, tomorrow will be the celebration of the death anniversary of another Mason. That's Brother Jose Rizal, who was instrumental in the fight against Spain, during the occupation of Spain of our country. So I joined the people of not only Calamba, but the whole of the country in commemorating the death anniversary of Jose Rizal. And one thing I'd like to say is this: when I was at the Katipunan group at Lipa City, the Museum ng Katipunan, I was asked, if you become president, will you be able to make the June 19th birthday of Jose Rizal also a national holiday? I said yes. So we will make June 19 the birthday of Brother Rizal as a national holiday. Because if you can see, the birth anniversary of Andres Bonifacio is being celebrated. The death anniversary of Rizal on December 30 is being commemorated. So why not also celebrate and commemorate the birthday of the national hero, Jose Rizal? I congratulate the people of Calamba, where the hero was born, and because they continue to give honor, to give recognition to a great man who fought the invaders through his pen, and so much through his sword. Because it was Bonifacio who really raised up arms against Spain. That's
Nabanggit niyo po na member po kayo ng Mason. Paano niyo po sineselebrate ang mga commemorative na event ni Dr. Jose Rizal?
Yeah, thank you, Laarni, again. There are various forms of celebration and commemoration. Of course, at Cuneta, almost always the president do the displaying of flowers to the monument of the hero. In other towns and cities, they do the fundraising, they do the offering of flowers, they do the prayers also. We do the we wear our uniform, the apron, we wear the apron, and of course, we honor the flag, we sing the anthem, and we make sure that this kind of tradition is carried on yearly. No? Para hindi makalimutan ng mga tao that there was one guy who really stood up against Spain by virtue of his pen. And in fact, by virtue of the novels El Filibusterismo and the Noli Me Tangere, which I believe all students, even all Filipinos, should be able to read and appreciate.
Dumako naman po tayo sa usaping politika. Ano po yung nakainganyo sa inyo o motivation nyo? Bakit po kayo tumakbo bilang Pangulo?
Alam po ninyo, ilahat ko na lang yung pinagsimula nitong krusadang ito. No? In April of 2020 last year, isang mapagdasal na babae po sa Australia ang nag-inform sa akin, nag-text sa akin through the cellphone, through messenger that sir, sa aking mga pagdarasal, because she is missionary, sa aking mga pagdarasal, nakikita ko po na hirap ng bayan natin, kawawa ng po mga tao, at may nakikita kong isang tao o usbong na isang ordinaryong tao na magiging bahagi ng tunay na pagbangon ng bansa. Sabi niya. Then I said, well, I was surprised. I said, salamat po, Ato. Mami, salamat po ng marami. But who is that? He is a farmer, sabi niya. He farms, he plants. Sino po? Sabi niya akin, ang nabibisyon ko ay ikaw. Sabi niya, really? So it started that way, a prayer. So she continued to pray. She still asked for signs, for guidance from the Lord, from God, about what will really happen. Ano po mangyayari? So, hanggang dumating na po sa punto na nagkaroon na siya ng clear vision, sabi niya, that isang farmer ang mamumuno sa bansa natin. Oh, sabi ko, napakaraming farmer. Tingnan na lang natin, sabi niya, but ang tinuturo ni Lord ay isang tao na talagang tunay, na may puso, tunay na matapat, at tunay na may kalinisan ng hangarin para sa bansa. So, tinuro niyo po ako, to be honest. You can call her, you can talk to her about that. So, doon po nagsimula. Now, on the question why anong nagimok sa akin, etc. So, from April up to November, pinag-aralan ko po yan. It was only in November of 2020 that I accepted. I said, I accepted the challenge. Okay po, let's go. But during that period, marami na po pala silang nag-organize, no? Sa Amerika, sa Australia, sa Canada, sa Europe. Nagsimula na po sila. Mga kababaihan po nagsimula nito. So, to my surprise, kaya nga may tinatawag the March of the Filipinas. March ng mga Pilipinang babae. So yun, but again, to be specific about, I am a reader of history. I study history. And I found out that this country is really a victim of greed. Greed. Kasakiman. That's why we always say that, and I always say in many groups, many people, no, in online meetings, even in my personal appearance before, there were 4 major greeds that really put the lives of the Filipino people in misery, in a situation where hirap na hirap ang almost 50 to 60% of our population. When I say 50 to 60%, I mean from 50 million to 60 million people that we have. Because more or less we now have 100 million people. It's even more. I think 105, 107 million. So there were 4 major things. When I filed my certificate of candidacy at COMELEC, I mentioned, I think, two grids. The patrimony grid and the taxes grid. Patrimony grid is basically yung pagkakalbo at pag-aabuso ng ating mga kagubatan. In 1900, we have, I think, 70% forest cover of the total 300,000 square kilometers of land that we have. So that means we have 210,000 forest area, square kilometers. 100 years after, from 1900 to year 2000, that became only 20%. So, imagine that, nakalbong kagubatan natin, ang kabukiran natin, na pinagkukunan ng pagkabuha ng mga kailangan ng mga maliit nating mga mamamayan. Nakalbo po yan. Meaning, from 210,000 square kilometers of forest cover, naging ano na lang po, naging 60,000 square kilometers of forest cover. Napakabilis po ng pagbaba ng pagkat. Alam naman po natin mga nangyayari sa kabukiran, mga puno, no? Talaga walang pakundanan yan. Now in 2010, our forest cover became only 18,000 because 6% na lang po of the 300,000 square kilometers of land that we have. Kaya sa satellite map, makikita po natin Palawan, the western part, mayroon pa akong kabukiran yun. Parts of Catanduanes, mayroon pa. Mindanao, mayroon pa. But basically, the whole of Luzon, wala na po. That's why, one of the 7 flag lamp agenda is environment repair. Repair of the environment that will involve all Filipinos, from elementary pupils up to all the adults Filipinos, who should be involved in replanting and protecting the forest, in protecting our seas from any destructive elements coming from natural and coming from man-made. So that is the patrimony grid. Remember, 210,000 square kilometers of land ng 2,000 60,000 square kilometers of land. So paano pa po yung mga future generations natin? Paano po yung mga anak natin? Kawawa po. On the second grid, it is the taxes grid, Laarni. We were computing from ito sinasabi po namin that for 50 years, no? Kawawa po mga tao natin. Because in 50 years, we saw abuse of political power. And in that abuse of political power, we saw the power of greed. Yung puwersa ng kasatimana, hindi na well, you know what I mean. Now, from the 70s up to now, we were computing, especially from the 70s up to 2000, that's 30 years. There was an average corruption of from 10 to 12 billion pesos per year. Minimum. From year 2000 up to 2021, 2020 for that matter. Trillions ng budget natin. Now, imagine a minimum calculation of 30% of the budget being corrupted. So an example is that if we have a budget of 4.5 trillion pesos today for this year alone, the estimated corruption would be 1.5 trillion pesos. Because that's 30% average the total money. Meaning, the question therefore is that, do we really need 4.5 trillion pesos for this year? The answer is no. Why? Because we only need 3 trillion. Because the 1.5 trillion will be corrupted. Will go to the pockets of greedy people. That is not good. That will really put the country in a situation where kawawa ang mga tao. Now, I also mentioned about the political rivalry grids, because that happened. Well, may I just mention of 2 families who were fighting each other, who were fighting for power, for influence, for whatever benefit they can have, and Kaya nga may mga nagsasabi, dapat tumigil na muna sa away politika yung dalawang pamilya niya. You know who those two families are. Let me not mention them anymore. That's the political power rivalry. Really. The fourth grade is the use of Mindanao for political election cheating. It always happens. It happened, nalalaman natin na bago ang eleksyon, mayroon ng mga natapos sa balota. Before, when there was yet no digital electronic election, andun yung mga ballot snatching, andun yung mga violence, lalo sa Mindanao, andun yung mga takutan, andun yung mga lahat-lahat. This should stop. This whole grade should stop so that our people will be given a chance to progress. Our people will be given a chance to live in a peaceful, in a progressive, in a manner where there is always hope for the people to pursue the kind of lives they would like to pursue. Now, I mentioned these four grids, Laarni. I know it's very deep, malalim, perhaps ngayon nyo lang po narinig ito, but it is really a matter of careful study. I read history. Pag nagpatuloy po ito, sabi ko nga, mawawala na ng saysay ang pinaglaban ng mga bayani natin. Mawawala ng saysay ang pinaglaban ni Rizal, Bonifacio. Mawawala po lahat. Because their dream, when they were fighting Spain, is only freedom and progress for our people. Paano na lang pagtuloy-tuloy. That's why they're saying there should be one new leader that will really move the country forward. Not a political, not a trapo, not someone who was used to all of this political mudslinging before. No? It should be, they're saying, it's the people who are saying this. There should be one strong leader. And they're saying he should be like Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, perhaps with the charisma of Mahatma Gandhi of India, and also the leadership perhaps of George Washington of America, of Rizal, of Bonifacio, Gregorio del Pilar, the bravery of Del Pilar, the bravery of Plaridel, of Marcellus del Pilar. Ayaman din lamang na tayo magse-celebrate ng kamatayan ni Dr. Jose Rizal. I'd rather mention, let me mention all of these heroes. Yung mga nagipaglaban para sa, hindi lang para sa kalayan natin, para sa mga tao na pagdating ng araw. We are in a country where there is dignity among us, where there is integrity in leadership, where, in fact, there should be unity among the government and the people. So that's my thought now. About why, you're asking why, I am here now. So, God willing, we'll be able to pull through as a nation. And God willing also, as I always said, this country will rise again. One.
Nabanggit niyo po yung 7 programa para sa ating bansa. Ano po yung 6 na programa?
We call it the 7 Flag Lamp Agenda. Flag means free our land against greed. Lamp is the Lariandes movement for president. The first is agricultura. The second is health education and youth empowerment. Second is welfare. The third is welfare. The fourth is massive small and medium industry development. The fifth is credible defense or respectable deterrence. This is our term. I studied, I'm a member of the Naval Reserve Forces, so we say credible defense, especially towards Philippine Sea against China. The sixth, of course, environment repair. Number 7 is justice and human rights. Alam niyo yung problema dun. There is an 8, there is a 9. The 8 is the proposed constitutional reform. Some of the proposals of the Bayanihan Constitutional Program of the group of former Chief Justice Reynato Puno. And of course, the 9th is a tax reform. The need to reduce taxes. so that our business community, our people, especially the fixed income group, the professionals, will have a reduction of taxes so that they will have more money to buy for their family, for their food, for their clothing, for their shelter, for the medicines of their children, etc. Now, agrikultura. For so long a time, pinabayaan po natin ang isang basic foundation ng ating national life, agrikultura po. To the extent that right now, umangkat na po tayo ng bigas from Thailand, from Cambodia, from other countries, from Indonesia, etc. To import rice for a country like us, which has so much abundant lands and resources within which to plant rice and to harvest rice, is not good. We have to go back to the culture of the culture. That's why agricultura, cultura, to go back to the culture of uh, emulating agriculture the way our forefathers and our heroes taught us that pagyamanin po natin ang ating mga lupain. Sapagkat yan lang po ang sandigan ng ating katatagan bilang isang bansa.
Since nabanggit niyo po, ang isa sa mga programa niyo is about our national defense at isa kayong member ng Naval Reserve, ano po ang inyong solidong solusyon upang masolusyonan natin ang ating problema sa West
It's
Philippines?
a very relevant question today. As you know, most of the time, most of the events at the West Philippines is that they have no time. Tinataboy yung mga mangingisda natin. Binubuli mga isda natin. Not only that, yung mga ships natin, binubuli din. They are threatening our maritime, our Coast Guard, and naval vessels also in the area. China, the way I read China is that if you show up that you have the capability, the sincerity, and the willingness to defend your territory, they will respect you. But if you show weakness to them, the more that they will take advantage of that weakness. A delegation from the United States came over months ago. I was asked one question. How will you deal with China? One solution or one doable action is that we will have to revive our partnerships, our collaboration with our allied partners, the United States, Korea, Japan, and let's also maintain military relations with India, even Australia. We should do this in a manner where China will see that there is an allied group of countries, collaborating allied countries, who are willing to help each other in the defense of their territory and their sovereignty. Specifically, I was saying that for a 6-year period, we have to have an additional 20 naval boats, 20 digital missile-guided naval boats, and we have to have an additional 30 Coast Guard boats that will guard our western territory, that will also guard our eastern territory, especially Benham Rise. We have to start developing Benham Rise, and we need to guard Benham Rise. There are many resources in that particular Benham Rise. Now, of course, it will take money to buy 20 additional boats. For the Navy, it would also take money to build 30 Coast Guard vessels. We have to establish already our own defense industry in this country. Manufacture of small arms, not only small pistols, not only rifles, but small arms like light tanks, armored tanks, for our army, for our infantry, small boats for our Coast Guard. This can be done through a collaboration between the shipbuilders of Australia, of US, of France, of Great Britain, in collaboration with our defense industry here also, with our technical defense people here also. We can do that. Now, another thing, we can obtain loans or foreign military sales from our allied partners, from the United States, from India, no, from Japan, from Korea. If India would like to help, they should be able to help. If Australia would like to help, they should be able to help. With the objective of telling China, please don't bully us. Yes, we are patient, but we have to show to them that we are willing to defend that line, or specifically that line between the Ayungin Shoal, where our BRP Sierra Madre is stationed, an old naval ship, but still an active naval ship, up to the Calayan Islands, the 32-hectare Calayan Islands. We have to have a line, a defensive line. We will not start a war with China. Hindi tayo magsisimula ng gera with China. But we will defend our territory. And we should maintain strong collaboration now with the United States, because we have the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty with them. And you know naman yung treaty with the United States, that if the Philippines is attacked by a foreign power, the United States will come to our rescue because of that treaty. And again, may I say this, the United States should be allowed to go back, Subic, put up their own naval base again, so that it can serve as a deterrence against any foreign power, not only the Philippines, not only China, but against any foreign power. Because our resources at the west and at the east, ganun na lang kalaki. Oil, maritime, not only isda, not only fish, but also minerals, no, under West Philippine Sea and under the Benham Rise. So, we can maintain the credible defense posture. We can maintain a respectable deterrence posture against any foreign power who would like to exploit us. We can do that. Now, those are the specifics na tinatanong nyo. I don't know whether other leaders, other people were able to say this. That's my point of view. We have to strengthen our collaboration with our allied partners, the US, Japan, Korea. That's the only way we can send a message to any bully country that we will defend this country with our partners. That's it.
Ayan, atin ang nakapanayam ang ating presidentiable candidate, Sir Laarni Andes. Isang karangalan po na pinaundakan niyo po kami at binisita niyo po kami dito sa Calamba City. Any parting words po para sa ating mga kababayan?
Ako po magpapasalamat sa inyo ng taimtim at puso. Because of this opportunity, ay naipahiyag namin ko yung mga kalituntunin, no, na ipapatupad ng flag law kung sakasakali may awa ang ating Panginoong Diyos. I have very simple thoughts for our countrymen. Let us, I always say, muster again the courage, the bravery that our heroes had. They were fighting Spain, they were fighting the US, they were fighting the Japanese. Let's relive, let's re-inculcate in our hearts and minds the sacrifices of these heroes. Rizal, this is the eve of his death anniversary. And I'm so honored to be here again in this hallowed ground. Perhaps this area is where he was able to walk when he was young and when he grew up here in Calamba. So, I'm so honored. It is my pleasure to be with you. I always say that I am someone for the ordinary Filipino. As an ordinary Filipino, I am for the ordinary Filipinos, because the ordinary Filipinos are those that need government most, not the rich ones, not the middle class, because they only need peace and order, they only need tranquility. But for those down below, those in the poverty line, they need government homes. That's why, God willing, it will be, as I said, a sacrificing leadership. It will be a sacrificing presidency. So, in hope and in prayer, we will overcome these problems. Because I believe that if we are with God, God will also be with us. But if we are not with God, then God will abandon us. The way God has abandoned us for so long a time. Reason why many more people are now in a state of misery. Salamat, Ma'am Laarni. Salamat, Kuya, sa pagkakataon ito. Again, ulitin ko, sa akin po ang karangalan ngayong oras na to, ngayong gabi nito. Maraming salamat po. Sa Bicol we say, Dos Mabalos. Salamat po.
Salamat po sa ating presidential candidate, Sir Laarni. Isang matino, mahusay, may malasakit at maaasahan ng bawat Pilipino. Ito po sila Laarni Barairo ng KSP. Hanggang sa muli.
Sundown, come down, think about where we are. It's a long way, way up to everything that we want.
Okay. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat kay Miss Laarni sa kanyang special episode ng KSP. Yan. Bihirang-bihira mag-special episode yan. And bago tayo magwakas, ayan, inayos ng ating technician yung mga messages na live na mga messages natin. Ayan. Basahin muna natin ang ilan. Ayan. From Randy Foster San Andres. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Mabuhay ka rin, Sir Randy. Kay Ma'am Mercy Chan, mabuhay. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood ng live. Ayan, sabi ni Mercy Chan, My President 2020. Ayan. At saka siyempre, si Mame Tiger. Ayan. Mabuhay Hilario Larry Andes for President 2022. Watching from Australia. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga kababayan dyan sa Australia na nanonood ng live. It's also an honor na kayo'y mapaglingkuran namin through our Facebook page via Facebook Live, Serbisyo Balita. And Happy New Year, sabi ni Mami Tiger, and mabuhay ang Serbisyo Balita. Maraming salamat po.